Good morning, everyone. Uh, this book, Squabbling Squashes, is published now from Wisdom. I think Hope already introduced this book. This book is about the squashes. And if you are familiar with this text, Opening the Hand of Thought, this story is in this book introduced by Uchiyama Roshi. And I think the story in this book is very timely, very meaningful for this time of human communities. There are so many very strong separation and division. I think we need to know that we are all connected, and that is about this story. And Uchiyama Roshi introduced this story because that has something to do with our Zazen practice. And this is available as a picture book for children. So I'm really happy that this book is published. Anyway, this morning I'm going to talk on one paragraph from this book, Opening the Hand of Thought. I have been talking on this text for more than 10 years. And in my record, this is a 232nd talk on this text. I talk almost paragraph by paragraph. So this morning, I'd like to talk on one paragraph. If you have this text, page 135. Let me read this paragraph. It's quite a long paragraph, but let me read. The reality of life changes moment by moment. Therefore, self must work in the encounter of every moment and in the direction of the manifestation of the life that pervades all things. Here is where we come to find the true value of life, living out the whole self no matter what happens. In the instructions to the head cook, this is referred to as joyful mind, or kishin, the mind that lives in accord with the true value of life. Joyful mind comes up as a dynamic feeling of truly being alive. Joyful mind does not mean a feeling of excitement at the fulfillment of some desire. Rather, joyful mind is discovering one's worth and passion for life through the action of parental mind toward everything we encounter. When we see each encounter as our life and function with the spirit that each and every encounter is our child, to be looked after and taken care of, we will discover through other and passion and joy in being alive. Right there, we will become true adults. Any bodhisattva aspiring to live the way of Buddha will, without exception, possesses these three minds of magnanimity, joy, and parental care. This is the conclusion of the part of this book. Uchiyama Roshi talks about three mind. Three mind in Japanese is Sanshin. That is the name of this community. Sanshin literally means three minds. But somehow I don't like in English three minds as plural. So I keep it in Japanese as Sanshin, because this is not three individual or different minds, but this is three manifestation of one mind, that is body mind. So body mind function as three minds or three aspects. And this is almost the end of the chapter 6 and chapter 7 of this book. And from chapter 6 to 7, Uchiyama Roshi is discussing about the meaning of Zazen practice within the modern society or modern civilization. And in the very beginning of the chapter 6, Uchiyama Roshi says, in this modern civilization or modern society, we put too much emphasis on progress. Progress means we need to go somewhere better than where we are. That means where we are now is not so good, it's not perfect. Therefore, we need to make effort, work hard to reach the goal, and that makes our life better. And Uchiyama said that is okay if by the progress or development of natural science or technology or economy, our life become more and more rich and convenient and easier, and that is fine. But there is a problem there, in that way of life. That is, Uchiyama Roshi said, we human beings have been making effort in the two ways. One is to progress, to make our life better, and another is peace of mind. And within this structure of our life, to work hard to gain something better, it's very difficult to find peace of mind. That is a problem of people like us living in the modern civilization. That means if we think we need to make progress and reach somewhere better than where we are, or we need to become a better person who I am, then Uchiyama Roshi is saying here is a dissatisfaction. That means I am not happy or I am not satisfied. Therefore, I have to make effort and reach somewhere better than where we are or who I am. So within this structure of life, there is always dissatisfaction, something negative about who we are and where we are. That's why we make effort to make progress to ourselves and our life better than here and now. That means we always have something negative about our lives. and that negative feeling or feeling function as greed. That means we want to get this better thing as much as possible and faster than others or more than others. And dissatisfaction makes us angry or hatred. I don't like this. Therefore, I need to go somewhere else, or I want to get something better. And according and according to Buddhist teaching, these two are a result of ignorance. So this common way of life in our modern society is based on three poisonous mind. It's very difficult to be free from this three poisonous mind, to live within this structure. Then our life become competition with others because something better is not only me but all other people want to gain that. So even if we are successful and gain something we want or desirable, we cannot be satisfied because other people want to get what we have. So our struggle to be good or to be better and to be better than others. There's no way to find a peace of mind because we need to always compete with ourselves, compete me who I don't like, and compete with who I wish to be, and also competition with other people. So this peace of mind is important, and that is what Buddha taught. How can we be peaceful in our mind? And as one possible kind of answer to how can we find peace of mind, even though we need to live within this structure of making progress. How these two can be together, I think, is Uchiyama Roshi's kind of a core when he was young. In Japanese society, we accepted Western civilization, and Western civilization put emphasis on making progress. So Japanese people worked too hard in many in various areas. One is military power, and another is economical power, and so on. We want to catch up with Western countries, and that way of life made Japanese people to lose peace of mind. Before we received the Western civilization, Japanese society in the middle of 19th century didn't have war for about 260 years, almost 300 years. So it's within Japan. Japan was closed against all rest of the world. So within Japan, there's no war. So no real fighting. So Japanese people had a kind of peace of mind. And yet within competition with other countries after second half of 19th century and 20th century, Japanese people lost peace of mind. So Uchiyama Roshi want to combine these two. How can we make progress without losing peace of mind? And if it's possible or not? That is his question when he was a teenager. And to find the answer, he studied Western philosophy and Christian theology. And finally, he became a Buddhist monk. And he thought he found the answer in this Zazen practice based on Buddha's and Dogen's teachings. How can have both making progress? That means making effort to become better and without losing peace of mind. And he started to talk about Zazen practice, the meaning, how we practice Zazen, and what is Zazen practice teach us. And what Zazen practice teach us is within the three mind, magnanimous mind, that is Daishin. Literally, Dai means big mind. That is, when our practice of Zazen allow us see the interconnection with all other beings. I think that is what this story means. So when we sit quietly and as these squashes did, when he touched the head, there is something strange called vine, and we find there we are connected with all beings. That means we are not independent entity who can exist without relation or without support from others. That discovery is magnanimous mind, big mind. And because we are connected with all beings and we can exist only by being supported by all others, we also try to support others, at least not to harm others. How can we live together with all beings within this interconnectedness? Is about Roshin. Roshin literally means old. But in this case, old, in this modern, civilization, to be old is not positive meaning. To be old means not useful anymore. And I'm getting in that stage of my life. But in ancient times, especially where people work for agriculture, to be old is important because old people experience all the difference and changes of the weather in their memory. So they can see what's happening in the nature when something happens. And that has something very important information when they work in the field. So to be old means to be matured and who has wisdom through their experiences. So Roshi means matured mind or mind of matured people. Or we translate this as a parental mind to take care of others. Within this interconnectedness, when we are when we are childish, we expect people help us. If people don't take care of us, we scream, we cry, or we complain. But when we become matured, we can take care of others. We have something to offer to the people within that interconnectedness. That is what Roshin or parental mind means. And the third one is Kishin. Ki is joy. So Kishin is a joyful mind. Within, when we are kids, we are happy and we have joy when we are well taken care of. But when we become mature or adult, we can find a joy within taking care of others and to make this interconnectedness more healthier and better place, more comfortable place or healthy place. We can find a joy. That is what joyful mind means. And to another thing which I'm going to discuss in these two chapters is vow and repentance. When we receive the precept, we take 4 bodhisattva vows, and after each of Dharma talk or something we study, we chant 4 vows, 4 bodhisattva vows. Being some numbers, we vow to help or save or free them. And the region are inexhaustible, we vow to put an end to them, and so on. Those are vows, even though we are the bodhicitta and try to be helpful with others, we need to make effort to make ourselves being able to help others. To do so, we need knowledge or wisdom and also skills to help others, depending upon what is necessary here and now. To do so, we have to make effort to develop ourselves, and also we have to make effort to, take care of our kind of a childish part of our mentality, that is greed, I want this and that, or hatred or anger towards something that doesn't make me happy. And we also need to work with ignorance. So that is our practice. So we take that vow, and yet our practice is always incomplete. We find, we are not perfect. Therefore, we have to need to practice repentance. So what Uchiyama Roshi is saying in these two chapters is, as a Zazen practitioner or as a bodhisattva, we need to practice Zazen and find a magnanimous mind and take bodhisattva vows and being aware of how incomplete we are, that allow us to make another more effort to develop and to make offering to others, that is parental mind, and within this making effort to progress our personality and helping others, we find joy together with all beings, not my personal happiness. That is basically what Uchiyama Roshi is saying in these two chapters, 6 and 7. And now in this paragraph, he talks about the final thing, joyful mind. So let me read sentence by sentence in this paragraph. The reality of life changes moment by moment. The reality of life means in Uchiyama's teaching that is we are living as a person, as individual, and yet this individual person is empty. That is, there's no fixed self-nature. That is what emptiness means. So that is what I mean when I say we are one as individual person, and yet we are collection of all different elements. That means this one is not really exist. This is just a collection of all different elements. And when we see we are empty, then we start to see as the squashes, the find connection with all others. So I express these three aspects of our life as being as an individual person, and yet this individual person is empty. That means empty in Sanskrit is shunyata, shunya or shunyata, and shunyata means zero. That's why I put zero here. And when we see, there's no fixed thing within this, we see, all different things are coming and going, like air coming in and going out, or when I drink water, water become a part of my life, but it go out sooner or later. So nothing is staying forever. That is what emptiness and interconnectedness. And this way of being is what Uchiyama Roshi called the reality of life. And this reality of life is not fixed, it's not permanent. Reality of life is also moment by moment changing and moving within time. So therefore, self, each one of us, the self must work in the encounter of every moment and in the direction of the manifestation of the life that pervades all things. As I said, in the structure of samsara, that is chasing after something we want within this structure, this is a goal. And when we set up a goal, if we cannot reach the goal, we cannot be happy. Or if we cannot reach the goal, we call our effort as a failure. And only when we reach the goal, we say we are successful. But what Uchiyama Roshi is talking is reality of our life is moment by moment. And our progress is being here and now, together with all beings. But there is a direction, and this direction is for Bodhisattva vows. So that's the difference, as Dogen then said, using the example of a firewood, each moment we are peacefully abiding this Dharma position. And this is the before and after is kato. That means this here and now is only actual moment. Past has already gone and future has not come. So just peacefully abiding this moment as who we are, what we are doing. And within this there is a direction we need to go. but there's no goal. Goal is here and now. So we are in that case, we are already in the goal. If we are peacefully abiding here and now, and yet within this here and now, there is a direction we need to go. In this way of life, there's no goal, or we are already in the goal. That is what Dogen Zenji meant when he said, practice and verification are one. We are practicing here and now, and that is already in the goal. So in this structure, until we reach the goal, our effort is meaningless unless we reach the goal. But here we are already in the goal, and yet we have a direction to work. So within this structure, there is both progress, making effort, and peace of mind, just peacefully abiding here and now. That is what he is, I think, that is what he is saying here. That is, therefore, self must work in the encounter of every moment and in the direction, and yet there is a direction of the manifestation of the life that pervades all things. The life that pervades all things is our life together with all beings. Not only one particular squash, but entire, plant of the squash. So not only fulfilling our personal benefit or personal desire, but try to do something helpful to this entire network of interdependent origination, moment by moment. Here is where we come to find true value of life, not only my value, my personal benefit, but when we share the peace, joy, then we share the joy with other beings. Instead of we are successful and others are all kind of a loser. If there are winners, there are more losers. If all people are winners, then there's no loser. Then we don't call those all people are winner. If you have used the word success or win, there is a failure and lose. These are relative. So there is always a competition. So we cannot share the joy in this way of life with other beings. That is what he meant. Here is where we come to find the true value of life. Sharing happiness and peace and happiness or joy with other beings, that is the true value of life. Living out the whole self. Whole self means the self that is connected with all beings. Whole self, no matter what happens. We cannot exist, we cannot live without relation with others. So to find a harmonious, peaceful relation with others, then we can find a true joy. Living out the whole self, no matter what happens. And Uchiyama said, instruction of the head cook, that is Tenzo Kyokun, part of Eihen Shingi. And last time I gave a Dharma talk in March. I introduced what Dogen Zenji wrote about joyful mind. So that is where Uchiyama Roshi found this expression, joyful mind, that is Tenzo Kyoku. Tenzo is a part of the community called Sangha, and Tenzo has a responsibility to prepare meals to all members of the monastery or community. So Tenzo's work is his or her personal work with personal responsibility, and by studying how each and every food ingredient makes into the best meals, we develop our ability and the knowledge about cooking, and by this effort we can support better or tasty foods to the rest of the community. So within one person's practice as a cook, there is a aspect of magnanimous mind to make meal preparation for the community, and also taking care of people in the way they can work and practice and study in a healthy way. And by doing so, by serving the community, we have a joy, real joy, together with the member of the Sangha. In this case, Sangha or community or monastery is a kind of miniature of the internet network of interdependent origination. And within small network or community, we develop our attitude to live together with others with these three minds. So in a sense, monastic or community practice is important to not only studying this kind of teaching, but we actually do through our day-to-day activities, and we can find that experience really real joy within that community practice. So to have a small community is important in which we can make offering each other and support each other. And that experience can be a kind of a model of our role, playing our roles in the larger society. So this is a origin of this Uchiyama Roshi's idea of three, not poisonous, but three minds, that is magnanimous, parental, and joyful mind. And he continues, joyful mind does not mean a feeling of excitement at the fulfillment of some desires. When we make effort to reach the goal and finally we reach the goal, then we have a joy, we have a satisfaction. But joyful mind in our practice is not that kind of feeling of satisfaction. But he says, rather, joyful mind is discovering one's worth and passion for life through the action of parental mind, parental mind is taking care of others, or taking care of the situation, how we can make the best offering to not only to others. It's, our practice is not self-sacrifice, but we try to find what is most beneficial for both self and others. That is parental mind. So when we work with parental mind, we can find a joy. That is what joyful mind means. Parental mind toward everything we encounter. When we see each moment, each encounter as our life, so our life is not only things happening within this collection of five aggregates, but this five aggregate can be as a person because of so many things coming in and going out. So we need to find this, interconnectedness, and not only as an idea or principle, but as actually things actually happening here and now. I can, now I'm talking because uh, I had breakfast, and uh, here Hoko and Hoshin here to make preparation for my talk. That is, and also you are ready to listen to my talk. That's why I can speak as a speaker of this Dharma talk without all of those people and people who are working for making computers. I cannot do this within this time of pandemic. So all beings are really allow me to give a talk at this moment, and hopefully my talk is my offering from what I studied from my teachers, or what I studied from Buddhist text, and from all the people who practiced with me in the past. That, that is what allowed me to give this talk here and now. So if we are aware of that interconnectedness, we cannot, I cannot be proud of what I'm doing, but all other people for interconnectedness allow me to give in this way. But my talk is always incomplete. I've always forget something important. So I try to give a better talk next time. That is how our practice and our personality is getting more and more skillful or polished, and I can make better offering to others. So next sentence, when we see each encounter as our life. So we encounter with our life. That means we encounter ourselves. This encountering is my life. Without encountering, there's no life. Because you are listening to my talk, I can be a speaker. If no one listen, I cannot speak. So my life is not only what is going on in my brain, but my life is what happening inside and outside of myself. That is what he said, when we see each encounter as our life. This is my life, including what is happening in my brain or rest of my body, and what is happening within this zendo or outside of the zendo, this entire world. Everything encounter and changing moment by moment, and that is our life. And function with a spirit that each and every encounter is our child. So this life, including myself, is our child. So we try to take care of the situation, including me and others, and try to find how I can be best help, or I can offer best thing, I can make. So every encounter is our child, not only myself, but our child. That is where parental mind can function. Child to be looked after and taken care of. We will discover through ardor, ARDOR, and passion and joy. I don't know that difference between ardor and passion, but anyway, we find something that something joyful, some energetic joyful that only me, but other people are also happy by what I can do, what I can offer. That is real joy. So order and passion and joy in being alive. Being alive does not mean just breathe and describe Scanda's function, but alive means to alive together with all beings. Right there, we will become true adult. Adult in here is a translation of Japanese very common expression, that is Dai-nin. In modern Japanese, we call adult as Dai-nin, big people, and children is called Shonin. For example, when we go to a movie theater, the fee for adult is often more expensive, and children need to pay less than adult. In such cases, in Japanese we call how much is the fee for dining and how much is for children or shonin. So this is, as a Japanese, this is very common expression, not a Buddhist terminology. But dining, if we translate this dining as in Buddhist technical term, this dining is a daishi. Shi in this case means people, so the same meaning, but daishi is a Buddhist term and daini is a common Japanese, and this daishi as a Buddhist term is a translation of Sanskrit word Mahasattva. Bodhisattva, Mahasattva. Bodhisattva is Mahasattva. That means a great or big person or large person is not mean the size of the body, but size of the life. Not only this person as an individual, but people who can try to live together with other people are called Daishi or Mahasattva. So this is the same with Bodhisattva. So what Uchiyama Roshi is saying, when he said, right there we will become true adult, means will become true Bodhisattva. When we are aware of this interconnectedness, that is Maha mind or big mind, a magnanimous mind, and have a vow to help others, that is parental mind, and having a joy within this making offering. Those three minds makes us the bodhisattva, true bodhisattva. Because of this teaching, I named this community as a Sanshin Zen community, people who study, practice, and work as a Mahasattva, or true adult, truly matured people, by studying Dharma and practicing Zen and other things, and work for helping or being helpful to others. And finally, in this paragraph, he says, any bodhisattva aspiring to live the way of Buddha. Bodhisattva is often called as Buddha's children, because we are children of Buddha. We practice and walk the Buddha's path. That means what Buddha had been walking. So we are walking, following the Buddha's example. That is what aspiring to live the way of Buddha means. And finally he said, we, without exception, possesses these three minds of magnanimity, or big mind, and joyful mind, and parental mind. Those are, I don't find the teaching of these three minds except Dogen's writing Tenzo Kyokun. So this is a kind of a unique teaching in Dogen's teaching. And as a Dogen Zenji's student, this teaching of three mind, or living with these three mind, express the actual concrete way of life for us as a bodhisattva, as a Mahayana Buddhist. So this is Uchiyama Roshi's conclusion about three minds. All bodhisattva needs to have these three minds. On the rest of this paragraph, there are three more paragraphs. He added a little more, but this is the conclusion of three minds. Okay, this is what I have to say this morning. Is it possible to receive the question?
Yes, so that speaker is up, and if people talk to you, you should be able to hear them. So if anyone has questions, put your hand up and we'll try to see you, and if we don't see you, just unmute yourself and say what you'd like to say. Questions this morning? Someone's got a hand up. Sagan, please.
Yes, Hojo-san, in his text here, Uchiyama Roshi says, when we see each encounter as our life, I'm wondering, this sounds very similar to the title of Katagiri Roshi's book, each moment is the universe.
Mhm.
Would you say that they're expressing the same reality there in those two different expressions?
I think they are the same. They have same meanings, and both came from Dogen's teaching. That is, self and all others are living together. Not only really Dogen's, but Buddha's teaching that self and all others are living together. That is what Dogen then says in Bendowa when he described his Zazen practice as a Jiju Zammai. When we sit, all beings within this entire universe aware or appear as they, express their original enlightenment. That is the origin of categories expression. Each moment is universe. In this case, each moment of Zazen. But Uchiyama expression, each encounter is our life. Is I think expressing the same thing.
Um,
Right?
Also, would this be equivalent to the notion of Genjo Koan, like each moment is a manifestation of Dharma?
I think so. Genjo is what is happening here and now, and Koan is a universal reality as a entirety of network of dependent origination. It can be expressed through our action or practice in each moment, or from another side, this entire network is manifesting itself through this person's actions. Yeah, so these are all the same idea, or slightly different expression of the same idea or same reality.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other questions this morning? Everyone okay for now?
Great, I'm happy. No question is good question.
I have, good morning, Hojo-san.
Hi.
This is Ko-un that regrettably has no camera.
I don't see you, but I hear
I
you.
know. But I am here. Thank you so much for your talk. If you could clarify something for me, I don't know if it was in an earlier talk you made, but I heard instead of, or maybe it's synonymous with parental mind, grandmotherly mind. And for me, that is not synonymous. Did I mishear or misunderstand?
What is another expression? One is parental mind. What is another one?
Grandmotherly mind.
Oh,
Yes. I've heard that too.
okay.
Thank you, Hoko.
This law, Shin, some people in Japan interpret this law Shin as law Shin. And Loba means old woman, old lady. So mind of old lady is another one possible interpretation of this law Shin. That means, when old lady or grandmother, when grandmother take care of their grandchildren, it's different from parent. Parent take care of children. parents have a responsibility to educate the children. So sometimes parents need to scold the children, but grandparents usually don't have such a responsibility as a parent. So he can just kind of take care of children to make them happy without scolding. Scolding is a responsibility of parents. I think that's the meaning of Robashin, or old woman's mind, or grandmother's mind. And, but in Tendo Kyokun, Dogen then said, Roshin is a mind of parents. So in my interpretation, what Dogen is talking about is not a grandmotherly mind or heart, but parent mind. That means parent has responsibility, not simply making children happy, but parents need to educate if children make some mistakes. So I don't, in my so low grandmotherly heart or mind is one interpretation, but what Dogen talks Roshi in Tenzo Kyokun is not really grandmotherly mind, but parental mind. That means not only makes children happy, but also needs to teach children to not make mistakes. Does this make sense to you, Koun-san?
Thank you, Hojo-san. It makes sense.
Okay.
However, I'll be like Dogen and say, however, it's not possible to be a grandmother without first being a parent.
Yeah.
So
the experience of parents.
Right. So my understanding, if someone were to ask me that, is since we are speaking now of Dogen's wisdom, that a grandparent having gone through the experience of being a parent might have some wisdom and experience more than just being, the primary caregiver. So it's
I think grandparents can teach the parents.
Yeah.
Also, because parents are their children.
Right. Yes. Always.
Grandparents are like a Buddha, and people actually working in the sangha, like as a tenzo, is like a teacher of parents, not only giving how can I say, not only make them happy, but those leaders of the sangha also need to study from the Buddha.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It does. Thank you, Hojo-san.
Thank you.
Other questions this morning? Wave big if you're waving so we can see you. All right.
Okay.
I think maybe we can close and do our chant.